Am I the asshole for laughing when my girlfriend was crying? So yesterday me, M23, and my girlfriend, F21, were planning on going to Chili's for dinner. I wake her up from a 3-hour nap at 8 p.m. for us to go. She continues to stall as I constantly remind her, come on, we gotta get ready. We're both hungry, so let's go. But she keeps sitting in her bed trying to just cuddle and talk, which I never have a problem with. I was just hungry and wanted to get there before they closed. So in the end we finally get there at 10:30 p.m. Doors locked. Google Maps said they closed at 11 p.m. but I said they probably closed the doors an hour early so nobody goes in last minute. But there was a TGI Fridays right next door that didn't close till midnight, so I suggested we go there instead. She starts crying. I hug her and tell her it's okay. It's just Chili's. Worst comes to worst, we'll just get fast food tonight and eat Chili's tomorrow. Her response as she continues crying, but I want Chili's now. To which I, completely unexpectedly and out of my control, audibly laughed. She got mad at me for laughing, but I calmed her down and we just got Wendy's instead. Now fast forward to this morning. This is her first day with this new position at work that requires to wake up at 6 a.m. as opposed to 8 a.m. when she used to wake up. We both wake up and I go to start prepping her lunch bag as she would get dressed. But this time I notice she's just standing there and not getting ready. You okay? Come on, you gotta get dressed. I don't want you to be late, I say. And she immediately starts crying. I ask why and she responds, I'm tired. Once again I can't control the laughter as I am faced with somebody being this sad that they are sleepy. I don't think she's on her period because she had it 2 weeks ago. Maybe it came back early, but she hasn't mentioned any cramps or anything. And now she won't talk to me. I told her we'll talk it out when we're both off of work. So am I the asshole or is she overreacting to mild problems? Edit. To people thinking me laughing at any girl crying is just my default, that's not the case. I've never laughed at a girl crying before. Even she's cried for many other reasons in the past and I only hug and console her until she feels better. I only laughed these times because of how small I felt the reasons to cry were. Edit 2. People are asking if she is depressed. I've only been dating her for a month but she has shown no sign of it, though she told me she dealt with it in her teens. Though she has been stressed lately about the promotion she got at work, but after last Friday everything she was stressed about is finished and she's been feeling significantly better since then. Edit 3. No, we do not live together. I live an hour and a half away from my job, but she's only 10 minutes. So on the 2-3 days a week that I'm scheduled to work morning shift I stay with her to be able to sleep in a bit and enjoy less of a commute. Plus it gives us those days to hang out since I live so far from her. Not to mention my car AC is broken and in this heat wave it's miserable. Esh, is your girlfriend 5 years old? Do you always laugh when someone is crying? Also, no need to blame everything on periods. In all seriousness, she sounds like she's depressed. Not the asshole. She's acting like a 4-year-old. Not the asshole. She's acting like a child. I want Chili's now. Maybe you should have gotten your ass off the bed? I have no idea how you're being so patient with her. She's throwing tantrums like a toddler and it's only been a month. Not the asshole. Your response was unfortunate but she was behaving over the top, so it's reasonable. Is it possible her behavior is from being stressed about starting a new job? Is she 5? Am I the asshole for blowing up on my parents after they cancelled my music lessons? I, 15F, live together with my parents and my 2 older brothers, 23 and 25. Both my brothers are disabled and have the mental age of around 4 or 5. Because of that my parents are pretty much always solely focusing on them. Sometimes a bit too much I think, because they have forgotten my birthday multiple times and holidays are always planned for my brothers, leaving me with nothing to do. For example, going to this specialized farm-like camp for people with disabilities where everything is supervised so parents and children can both relax. But there's nothing for me to do there, so I am always bored whenever we go to such a place. But I can usually deal with it, because my parents allowed me to follow piano and violin lessons, so that's kind of my getaway instead. I have been taking piano lessons since I was 4 and violin lessons since I was 7. I really enjoy music and playing and want to have a career in music later. But last week they told me they were going to cancel my lessons. Because they need me to look after my brothers for a few evenings a week. I got really upset because those lessons are basically the only thing that I felt was for me, and not for my brothers, and now I'm going to lose them because my parents need a babysitter. They told me they know it's not ideal, but it's difficult for my brothers and they just need extra care. I blew up on my parents telling them that I need care too and that they never considered me with whatever they plan, only my brothers. My parents got upset with me and told me I'm being childish and unfair because my brothers can't do anything alone, so it's normal to go the extra mile for them. Am I the asshole here? Edit. I didn't expect this to get so much attention. I expected maybe getting 2 or 3 replies. Thank you so much for your replies and advice and encouragement. It's a bit overwhelming and comforting to know that I'm not alone and not being unreasonable. I actually tried to talk with my parents about this again last night, but it kind of turned into a lot of yelling again because I got so frustrated because I felt like they weren't taking me seriously. I tried to tell them calmly how important music is for me and that I can't take care of my brothers, but it felt like they brushed me off, so I got mad. They were saying things like family should always be number one and that we all have to do things we don't like, and that we all have to sacrifice things, and that life is unfair but we can't do anything except deal with it. I think I will take some advice I read here today and try to print out an article about this and leave it on the table. I'm also going to find a way to earn my own money, so maybe I can start my lessons again myself. But I'm not really sure how to do that yet. And someone mentioned to look into getting a scholarship for college later, so I'm going to do that too because now I'm not sure anymore if my parents would pay for me to go to college. Thank you so much again for all responses. I'm looking at the big age gap and wondering if the parents decided to have a helper child. It's not going the extra mile, it's canceling your life. Using you for I assumed unpaid, sitter is unfair, canceling your music lessons all the more so. They have been neglecting you, now they're using you. That's abusive behavior. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry you are having to deal with this. Just remember, in only 3 years you will be an adult and can leave, and you should. They are sacrificing one child for another. You aren't your brother's parents and shouldn't be expected to put everything on hold for them. Good luck. Not the asshole and be unavailable for babysitting, period. No music lessons, no babysitting. You need to establish your rules and boundaries. Let your parents see your adult side by not allowing yourself to be bullied or controlled. Not the asshole. I hate to say it, but you need to get out of there. Try to stay with a family member. If not, maybe call CPS yourself. They are trying to turn you into another parent to your siblings. Am I the asshole for sending my children to summer camp when I'm not working? For context, I am in the UK and I am a teacher. We get paid all through the year including summer holidays. Background. I, F. 20s. Share 2 children with my ex, M. 20s. He had an affair and only came clean to me after she got pregnant with twins. They are constantly on, off again. He has to pay me about £500 in child support a month, no alimony here. He is broke, having to support 4 children on £26,000 a year. He cannot get out of paying child support to me as it is set in stone by the government. My wage does not matter as I am primary carer. I am remarried, M. 30s. He is a litigator. As stated, I am a teacher. Our combined salaries put us in the higher earning bracket here. The oldest attends private school and the younger one attends private nursery. This is full funded by us. Not their bio father. His child support payments go into saving accounts for the children. They will get it when they are 18. Main post. Bio dad only sees the children one Saturday month. No overnights, his choice. Our oldest mentioned to him what they had done at summer camp that week, funded by stepfather and I. When bio dad returned them to my house in the evening, after the kids went inside, he started having a go at me for being a lazy parent because I get 13 weeks off through the year and can't even be bothered to spend the holidays with the kids. I was clearly living off his money to fund my lifestyle, and I have no idea how hard it is for him and his other baby mum who are in debt and struggling because she doesn't work. I was an asshole for using his money to avoid looking after the children. I tried to keep my cool. The gist of my response was, I really don't think it is appropriate for a man who cheated on his wife and abandoned his children for 10 months and didn't pay a penny for them until you were hauled to court. May I also remind you that I was the breadwinner in our marriage, and as my husband works as well, we are in a comfortable position. I'm not sure why you are so angry that your children you see for 8 hours a month are given opportunities. As I pay for nursery, if I were to not send them for the summer, I would still have to pay. Our oldest asked to go to camp because his friends are going. Your money goes into a saving account for the children. I never chased you for the money owed from when you didn't pay either. Next thing you'll be asking me not to send them to private school because you can't afford it for your other children. If you and your mistress are so broke, tell her to get a weekend or evening, night job. Both of your poor choices are nothing to do with me. I will not have our children at a disadvantage because their bio dad couldn't keep it in his trousers. Later I received a text from my ex-mill. She said even though I may have hit some good points, it was kinda uncalled for and he was now arguing with his BM her and maybe I should consider the other children in the bigger picture. So did I take it too far? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You sent your kid to camp because they wanted to go. X responded as though they went to camp every week, all summer. Some kids do. X is upset about your child support but should have thought about that before stepping out on you. Tell his mom that he should have thought about you and your kids before having an affair. You have no responsibility to his other kids. Not the asshole. Your ex's hypocrisy is astounding. He can't be absent from his children's lives, only seeing them for 8 hours a month, and then have the audacity to criticize your parenting choices. Not the asshole. You did nothing wrong pointing out his mistakes. He shouldn't have commented on something he knew nothing about if he wasn't ready to have scrutiny pointed back at his own self. Not the asshole. Your kid wants to go to camp with his friends. Your ex's affair babies should not be a factor in any of your parenting decisions. It's not their fault your ex is gross, but their care is their parents' responsibility, not yours. Not the asshole. Sending your kids to summer camps isn't a bad thing. Am I the asshole for always feeding my niece fancy, expensive food? I, 29F, have a niece, 5F, who is my SIL's, 24F, daughter. In the beginning of this year, her boyfriend left her and she has been a single mom since. She is going through a hard time right now trying to balance raising her daughter while working a minimum wage job. Because of this, I offered to babysit my niece on most weekday evenings so her mom can work extra shifts and not worry about paying for a sitter. This arrangement has been going really smoothly for the last 2 months. My niece is an absolute angel and we have gotten so incredibly close. I've noticed whenever we've been over to my SIL's that her fridge is severely lacking in fresh foods. I totally understand how expensive grocery shopping can be and how much of a privilege it is to buy fresh food each week. Therefore, I don't blame her one bit. When I first started babysitting my niece, my SIL instructed her favorite foods were frozen chicken nuggets and fries, and she insisted that she'd be happy if I fed her that every meal. Personally, I'm super big into cooking. I'm also very into nutrition and making sure meals are well balanced. So I couldn't bear to just feed my niece chicken nuggets and fries at every meal knowing how unhealthy the two are long term. I began to introduce her to more vegetables and meats, seafood to make sure she was getting adequate nutrition. Recently, I've made her pan-seared salmon, steamed Chilean sea bass, mapo tofu, Peking duck, lemon asparagus, braised bok choy to name a few. And the thing is, she absolutely loves every single dish. I also blend her a fresh fruit and vegetable smoothie every evening as a little dessert. My niece has turned into a huge foodie and will try anything I cook. She's even taken an interest in helping cook alongside me. I didn't see anything wrong with what I was doing until 3 days ago my SIL called me to confront me. She basically told me to stop feeding her all this fancy rich people shit, and accused me of trying to turn her daughter against her. Apparently, at home, my niece now refuses to eat chicken nuggets and requests to eat a bunch of foods I make. But, a month ago, I ordered a bunch of fresh groceries to their home because I knew my niece had taken a liking to my food. However, a few days later, I asked my niece if her and her mom had cooked anything and she said, no, and that her mom had thrown most of it out. I was appalled, but chose not to confront my SIL. It made me livid to have her bash me for caring for her daughter's well-being and nutrition. I told her as such and called her ungrateful for throwing out my groceries and that she should be thankful her daughter is eating well. That did not end well and I heard her start crying on the other end before just hanging up on me. I do feel for her, and I told her as such, but our top priority should always be her daughter's well-being, which I feel like she's putting aside by asking me to stop feeding her. Am I not seeing something here? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your SIL should be grateful you were helping. I think she felt threatened, which is kind of strange, but she must be under great stress to blow it on you. The fact that she cried tells me she needs some serious help herself. You are the asshole, not for the food stuff, but you sound like you lack a lot of empathy. Your sister is probably going through a really tough time and don't always act rationally because of it. Be a bit more empathetic and just take it on the chin next time and say sorry, instead of complaining on Reddit. Info. Why don't you send an extra serving for niece to eat at home? Not the asshole. She is being a choosy beggar. I 100% understand that changing her daughter's taste in food presents new challenges. Being a parent is hard, struggling financially sucks, and being unable to give her daughter what she's asking for is probably causing all kinds of feelings of guilt and inadequacy. That doesn't make you the asshole though. Not the asshole. You are providing free babysitting and feeding her daughter. She should be grateful your daughter is being so well fed and looked after. I can understand your still being stressed, but lashing out at you is unhelpful.